But even record-wise right now, I think Brooklyn's, 10-4? Yep. And Golden State's 11-2.
Right.
Best record in the NBA. Shocking people. They haven't even gotten Klay Thompson back yet, but they look great. Steph Curry, arguably the MVP right now. Kevin Durant certainly in the conversation, and probably Nikola Jokic as well. But Steph's doing his thing, picking up where he left off last year, maybe even playing better. But, Rob, you wrote a column your trash talk today.
Yeah. It was just
you went off on the Brooklyn, those who doubted the Brooklyn Nets. So go ahead, share your feelings, why you trashed folks, and what your thoughts are on these Nets.
No, I think a lot of people thought Kyrie, and obviously he's a great player. If you have him, it makes your road easier. But in the NBA, you just need two great players. You have two great players, you have a chance to win. And obviously, if these two guys are healthy and they perform like they're capable, and I'm talking about Durant and Harden, with the supporting cast that the Nets have, I think they have a really good team and have a chance to win a championship even without Kyrie. And I think people thought that maybe it was going to derail them. They got off to a uneven start, a bad start, whatever you want to call it, Chris. Harden wasn't getting up to the line, wasn't doing what he's supposed to do. But they were the first team in the Eastern Conference with 10 wins. They've won 8 out of their last 9. They're playing Golden State tonight. Obviously, they're trailing right now. Still a long way to go in this game. But I think that if you're the Nets, you got to feel good considering a big piece that you were counting on is not a part of it. So you could have been, closer to 500 or even in that situation. We've seen some of the other good teams got off to really bad starts or uneven starts. Even Milwaukee. What is Milwaukee's record, Chris? Are they still under 500? They're like 6 and 7.
8. Yep. They've had
6 and 8.
6 and 8. Yep.
I mean, they have their pieces. I know they've had some injuries, but that's a part of the game. And you would go like Milwaukee. You would think after winning the championship and having confidence and knowing what you can do and what you can accomplish, they'd have, the pressure would be off. Isn't it easier, Chris, to play after you've won from the standpoint of that monkey's off your back if you're Giannis? I can just play. Nobody can take that championship away. So I think there's a lot of Kyrie fans who were hoping the Nets were going to get off to a terrible start and they would rue the day that the Nets decided not to have part-time Kyrie. And instead, Kevin Durant's leading the league in scoring, and James Harden is playing better and has way more room for him to be the James Harden that we've known and seen. So I'm cool with where the Nets are, and I think as time goes on, you don't want to peak in the first month of the season or they've only played, 14 games. But I think people who thought maybe this was going to derail them, I think they were wrong. And I'm not saying everybody, but there were some out there.
See, I got issues with your whole take because, number one, okay, Nick Wright, my partner on First Things First. Okay, he's not a high on Brooklyn. We know that. But I get where you were coming from with those that have praised Matt Stafford and said he was the savior and he was going to lead them to the promised land and all that, because there was a lot of people. I just don't think there was this groundswell of people saying, Brooklyn's done because Kyrie's no.
I didn't say that they were done, but there are people out there who just thought that losing Kyrie could derail them, and after they got off to
I think it has derailed them.
I don't.
So
think
far, they're not playing well. They're 10-4. Yeah, they had the best.
That's great, Chris. You know what? It would be great not to play well and be 10-4.
You're a stickler
and not play well.
You're a stickler for who you beat. Who you beat? The Nets have beaten 2 teams with winning records. All right, they ain't beating hardly anybody. Philadelphia, which is missing players, they beat, and Washington, who I don't really think is for real.
Washington's 10-3. They're not.
That's
10-3. They're not for real.
They'll come back to earth. Trust me.
Can we go over Golden State's schedule?
No, you don't hear me up here saying trash talking people that doubted Golden State, which is a lot more than doubted Brooklyn. But Brooklyn is 2-3 against teams above 500. Chicago beat them. Miami beat them. Charlotte beat them. So look, I picked Brooklyn to win it like you without Kyrie. So I'm not like down on them. I'm just saying this notion that they're shutting people up. They ain't shutting nobody up. Because James Harden better step it up. The way they're playing right now, Rob, they won't win the championship.
Chris,
James Harden needs to be James Harden.
You don't need to be championship ready in November, 14 games into the season.
Rob.
Hear me out. If they were 4-10, you would be like, oh, I don't care.
Who on earth thought they'd be 4-10?
They could be 4-10.
What, they're making up some fan?
No,
nobody in their right mind.
Why not? Milwaukee's 6-8. Milwaukee's 6-8. Why can't they be 4-10?
Because Milwaukee doesn't. I'm going to tell you, if you be quiet, Milwaukee doesn't have Kevin Durant.
They just won the championship. They got one of the best players in the league. What are you talking about? I don't understand it. Milwaukee's 6-8.
Look, you're yelling, you're making noise, you ain't saying nothing. All right, you just said it. Milwaukee's got one of the best players in the world.
They just won the championship. How did they win?
What'd you say when they won it? Injury
How did they win?
Phoenix, they got a Phoenix team that got to the finals because everybody else was banged up. They beat a Brooklyn team that was banged up.
That's how the Warriors won their first championship.
They got to play freaking Atlanta in the playoff, in the conference finals. So
did
stop
they win
it with
or
that.
not? Are they
not
NBA
to mention,
champs or not?
Rob, can I talk? Two of their three best players, they don't have Kevin Durant and James Harden. And if you're sitting here telling me James Harden is playing well enough for them to win the championship, you're off.
No, that's not what I said.
I believe he's going to get better, but he better get better. This act he's pulling would be fine if they had Kyrie to give him 26 a night to complement Durant. But if Kyrie's not coming back, then James Harden better get closer to the Harden of Houston. All right, and start giving me 25 plus a night. All right, because they don't have enough. They don't have a legitimate other big-time scorer that they're going to need without Kyrie. It can be Harden, but he better start playing like it. He's had a couple of nights, maybe 3. I know that's more than a couple, where he's gotten to the line, and that's when he scored the big points. But for the most part, he ain't getting to the line.
Chris, what James Harden you expected James Harden, who got off to the rough start, to be the guy who's going to be playing in April? I'm asking you.
All I'm saying is it better not be.
I'm asking you, is that who you expect?
Yes or no? I don't know what I expect. Okay. I'm saying it better not be. That's what I'm saying.
He has long of enough track record that James Harden, who's been a big-time star in this league for a long time, will be there at the end. My point is with the way that James Harden has played, according to you, they should be 4-10. Because you're saying he's played as garbage.
They're not a person. They've had an easy schedule, Rob.
How was Milwaukee 6-8? I'm asking you.
New Orleans, Oklahoma City, Toronto, Detroit, Atlanta, Indianapolis. That's who they've beaten.
Chris, you know what it's called? It's called the NBA.
Oh, well, why don't you say that when it's the NFL?
It's called the NBA.
Why did you just shoot down the Rams? Because, they haven't beaten anybody. Stop being consistent.
Because they lost because the 3 teams they lost are good teams. That's the difference.
You're a roller coaster.
That's the difference.
If I like them, record doesn't matter.
As can
if
be.
I don't like them,
no.
What was your answer?
I'm as consistent as can be.
What was your answer?
And because the Rams have nothing, because the 3 games, the most important games they've had this year against division rivals, they've lost. And they lost to Derrick Henry.
Same thing for Brooklyn.
And they getting
waxed right now by Golden State. 15 at home.
You can't equate 17 football games with
was a big game.
With 82 basketball games.
Miami was a big game.
You know better than that. 82 basketball games. Come on, man.
Here's the crux of the matter. Your trash talk this week was trash. You know who I'm trashing? I'm trashing Rob Parker for that weak trash talk. There ain't a fan on earth that thought the Nets would be 4-10. Stop it.